Look at Ethan.
Is trying to break his bat and will.
Batista. Frustration.
Well, he's out. Yes, sir. Brett is out. Look at this. Brett.
So as you can see, there's a lot of frustration there in those videos. There's a lot of anger. What I want to attempt to do is to dive into why. Obviously, there's a level of care. You know, when you really care about something, you know, there's going to be a frustration there. But I believe if you were to sit down, a lot of us athletes, especially males, and dive deeper into the real reason why there's so much frustration so many times, especially in this game of baseball, this game of failure, where we know there's a game of failure, you would be very surprised at what you would hear. The number one thing, I believe this is the foundation for any ball player, any athlete, anyone really, is the identity. The identity is the foundation of and the core of any ball player. Establishing the difference between your who and your do. There's a difference between who I am versus what I do on that field. As a coach, I tell guys all the time, I can look at how you play this game and it shows me a lot about how you live your life. This thing right here is no different. You're taking this, it goes everywhere you go. So it's with you when you're at home and it's with you when you're on that field. So if you're afraid, if you're struggling and having conflicts in your mentality and who you are as a person, you're likely going to see the same trend on the field. We have to establish what our identity is. And when we can get sold and understand that belief in who we are first, then it will begin to impact what we do. So many times as athletes, we get confused. We start to make our performance in our game, you know, outward performance, who we are. And what happens is sometimes we can't separate the two, especially as men, as young men. We base a lot of things off of what we do on the outside. We are judging each other based on those outward attributes. You are constantly told, you know, hit, you don't sit, or you're always being judged by your results, always being judged by what you do on the outside. And so it's very difficult to decipher the difference between who you are as a person and what your performance on the field. So when chaos happens on the field, usually chaos starts happening with us off the field, mentally, in our personal lives, at home. And this starts very young. This starts very young. And so that's why I say understanding the difference between your identity and who you are versus what you do. My mentality on the field has to be, if I do well today, it's because I believe I'm a good player. Unfortunately, a lot of times the mentality is, I hope I do well today so I can be considered a good player. Here's another example. If I get 3 hits today, I'll consider myself a good ball player. It should be, I got 3 hits today because I'm a good ball player. See, the identity of who I am, the belief in who I am must be established before I get on the field if I want to be able to balance this identity versus performance deal. Because if we're not careful, then our outward performance begins to now attack our identity. And so when we have a bad game, we think we suck. And when we have a good game, we think we're a good ball player. Some of the things that help us establish that identity, first and foremost, is understanding what our strengths are. You know, what are my strengths as a ball player? Me playing to my strengths is what's going to ultimately help me stay connected to who I am. You know, baseball is always comparing people. This guy's gonna be the next so-and-so. He's gonna be the next Trout. He's gonna be the next Bryce Harper. He's gonna be the next, you know, Albert Pujols. But when that happens, we start to leave our core of who we are and we start trying to live up to what someone else is. That's where this internal conflict begins, trying to measure ourselves based on who we want to be versus who we are. Parents, coaches, leaders, anyone that's leading people, you need to understand that about your player. You need to understand that about your child so you can kind of help mold that identity of that child.